Hello, and welcome to the Of Men, For Men podcast. I am your host, James Rodney Lemax. All right, well, come on in. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Grab a seat, relax, grab yourself a cool one. I want to talk about your path. The path you choose. I'm going to make some bullet points and then I'm going to kind of go through them. First, I'll say, never, ever, ever give up. Never quit. Who was it? The Winston Churchill during World War II? That was one of his famous quotes. Never, ever, ever, ever give up. And of course, he was talking about fighting the Nazis, fighting the Germans. Because he knew that they didn't have a choice. If they didn't fight them wherever they were, wherever they happened to be, whenever they needed to do it, wherever, that they would lose a country. Because the Nazis at that time were determined to take over Europe. You know, they had already taken France. And Hitler didn't really want to take over England, but because he kind of saw them as a kindred, but he was hoping that they would relent, but they weren't going to do it. They were going to fight him. So he had to take them on. And Churchill was willing to take that risk and fight him. Because remember, we didn't get involved in the war right away. Not until after we had been bombed in Pearl Harbor by the Japanese. You know. Then we got involved in the European War first to take care of that, and then we would deal with the Japanese, which is what we did. Because fighting a war on two fronts is difficult. But never, ever, ever give up. Never quit. Second, I'll say, fight every day. Fight every day. Now, I know some days it's going to be difficult, and some days you're going to fall short. And that's okay. But continue to fight. Now, I don't know who to attribute this quote to, but I've posted it several times in several different places, several different platforms. And it goes like this. Victory is always possible for those who refuse to stop fighting. As long as you're in the fight, you have an opportunity to win. Now, once you stop fighting, you've lost. You've relinquished. You know, you've pulled out the white flag. I surrender. Fight every day. Every day. Fight. Some days will be more difficult than others. But don't stop fighting. Always, always fight. And I'm not talking about physical fights. I'm talking about everyday struggles, spiritual struggles, physical struggles. You might have work struggles. You might have an addiction struggle. You might struggle with a personality problem, that you're having to deal with, that you're trying to improve upon and make yourself a better person, a better human being. Don't give up the fight. Fight, 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 fight. Fight every day. Fight every single day. Every day is a new battle. If you lost the one the day before, you got an opportunity to win the next day. You can do it. I have faith in you. You are in control of your own destiny. You're in control. Are there things that happen to you outside of your control? Absolutely. We all run up against obstacles. We all run into closed doors. We all fall in the ditch. Something bad happens. Bad things happen to good people. But it's not what happens to you. It's how you respond, your decisions. That's ultimately what makes you you. That's ultimately what determines your future. Is how you respond to those challenges. How you respond to what happens to you. Those are decisions that you make. And, you can take things and turn them into a positive, or you can make them more negative. You can turn a mountain into a molehill if you don't respond correctly. It's not that difficult. You just have to know that you are in control. You're in control. You're ultimately in control. Ultimately, you have to have some responsibility for your life. You can't. You can blame others, but that's not going to get you anywhere. If you accept responsibility for it, or at least your role, your role in, whatever's going on in your life, it's going to help you out tremendously. Again, are there bad actors? Does people do things to hurt you, to harm you? Yes, it happens. It's happened to me. I know it's happened to you. But you can ultimately turn those things around into your favor. You've learned a lesson. You've gone through a hardship, and now you know. Now you have wisdom on the other side of that you can use to your benefit in the future. And last, I'll say, your victory is right around the corner. You're like, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah, your victory is right around the corner. Now, I ain't saying it's going to happen tomorrow or next week or 6 months from now, but it's around the corner. Only the good Lord knows that, right? But you will obtain victory if you do those prior three things. You will eventually obtain victory. Because persistence always pays off. Persistence pays off. I know you've heard stories about, this guy kept bugging me. He kept coming back every week wanting a job or wanting an opportunity to learn this or do that. And He just kept coming and coming and coming, and finally, that person relented. He was persistent. He didn't quit. He kept coming. And he finally got the victory. A lot of people quit just before they get that victory. They give up just before, because they can't see it, but they're right there on the cusp of it. But they give up too quickly. Oh, it's too hard. I'm not seeing any results. It's not happening fast enough. Well, it ain't on your timing, that's for sure. It's going to be on the good Lord's timing, unfortunately. Sometimes you got to be patient. And, some stuff, it takes time to work it out. It takes time, especially if you have a lofty goal. People get in a rush these days. They get impatient. We live in drive-through society. Everybody wants to go to the drive-through, get their happy meal, and be on their merry way. Don't work like that everywhere. Sometimes you got to pay your dues. You got to pay the price. You got to put in the blood, sweat, and tears, so to speak. You got to put in the work. What do they say? Is anything that's worth having is worth working for. Sacrificing something for it. You can get immediate gratification and not have anything down the road, or you can make a sacrifice now. Make the sacrifice now and pay those dividends later on down the road. And your reward will be greater. You won't get that instant gratification, but what you'll get later on down the road will be way more valuable. You can do it. It's self-discipline. Your victory's right around the corner. Don't give up. Don't give up. We all have a road to travel, a path to travel. You can't take your family, your friends, your loved ones. Sometimes it'll be just you and the Almighty. And you're going to have to tough it out. You're going to have to have some trust and some faith there. Now, I know all of you might not be Christian. You might have other faith, but whoever your God is, if you have a God, you got to have some faith. Faith is having the assurance of something that's not seen. Hope. Because once you've lost hope, you've lost everything. The most dangerous man in the world is a man that's lost all hope. Because at that point, he doesn't care what happens to him anymore. He's lost all hope of his future. He doesn't care what happens to himself anymore. And that person will hurt you. It's like the guy in prison for life for killing somebody, or on death row. What does it matter if he kills another person? He's lost all hope. He already knows he's going to the gas chamber, right? Or he's going to get the lethal injection. Well, you can't kill him twice. Right? That's a dangerous individual. That's why they keep them suckers locked down for 23 hours a day. They got them in segregation. They don't put them in general population. They be in there killing people left and right. Because they don't care at that point. What do they care? I remember my mother-in-law at the time, her and her husband, my father-in-law at that time, were separated and getting a divorce. And she said, if I had to do it all over again, I would have married a nerd, because she married the bad boy. And apparently, when they were younger, he'd gotten older and settled down, but apparently when they were younger, he put her through hell. Out late nights and, presumably running around, doing things he wasn't supposed to be doing. Being place he wasn't supposed to be, maybe spending money he wasn't supposed to spend, being with people he wasn't supposed to be with. But she knew who he was, and she married him. But she said if she had to do it all over again, she'd married a nerd. Well, that says something. That's what I'm talking about. Make the sacrifice now and get the payoff later. Be the nerd. Don't be the bad boy out there running and gunning, doing all these things, living life on the edge, thinking you cool, because you're going to burn out if you don't, wind up in jail or something. Because it's likely to happen. You're going to run in with the law somewhere along the line. And hopefully you don't get locked up for any length of time. Or if you have been, I hope you learned your lesson. Hope it drove home something that, hey, I don't want to do that no more. I don't know about y'all, but I kind of like my freedom. I kind of like freedom. And I say that because, again, set your goals, set your path, and walk that walk. Walk that path. Do those things you have to do. Meet those steps. You got the goal, and then you got steps to achieve that goal. And you can mark them off as you achieve each and every one of those steps towards that goal. That's your path. And you can walk that path. And again, don't get discouraged. It's going to take time. You're going to have to fight. It's going to be a struggle, sometimes daily. But it's okay. Don't give up. Again, your victory is right around the corner. You can make it. Each and every one of you. I got confidence. And it's never too late. It's never too late. Oh, I'm an old man now. No, you still got plenty of time to do things, to reach some goals. You still got time. One of the best drummers in the world, what was his name? Buddy Rich, I believe. He didn't start drumming until he was, I think, in his 50s. Turned out to be one of the greatest drummers in the world. He had a hidden talent there he never knew, but, he didn't know. He picked up the drums one day and boom, there it was. He learned and so it's not too late. It's never too late. You might have a hidden talent somewhere. You might learn something that you really enjoy. You might, pick up something. So don't give up on yourself. It's never too late. Everybody has something to offer. Everybody. Don't sell yourself short. I always tell you to surround yourself with good, positive people. But they're not, people will give you, a hand up. They'll give you an opportunity. They'll lift you up. Good people would do that. But you can't expect that, and you can't depend on that. You're going to have to make it on your own. You're going to have to prove yourself. And you have to be willing to do that. It's your path. It's your row to hoe, as they used to say. Like in a garden, you got a long row to hoe. That means you got a long distance. You got a long way to go, my friend. And we all do. Whether it's personally or professionally, emotionally, spiritually. We all have our druthers. We all have something. But you can do it. Each and every one of you, myself included. I want to see you make it. I know we can make it. I can make it. One of these days I'm going to make it. That's what I tell people. You know, and sometimes it's not sometimes it ain't the destination, it's the journey. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it ain't even the destination, it's the journey. Some people know who they want to be when they're really young. You know, some people kind of find out along the way, and other people, it's not the destination, it's the journey. And I've been one of those people. I've been a lot of things in my life. I've done a lot of things I've been interested, a lot of fields I've chose to work in. I've lived a pretty rich life, and I've had a lot of experiences, and I cannot complain. You know, sometimes I feel like I've lived 3 lifetimes. And I still got plenty of time left. I still got a ways to go. You know. All right, gentlemen. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you listening. Check out the social media sites. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. ofmen4men.locals.com. And on Gab. Check them out. They're all a little bit different. Some of them have, you know, completely different content than the others. You know, I try to provide information and things I think you'll be interested in. You know, stories and news and videos and photographs and, you know, memes and, you know, things that I think are, you know, informative and uplifting and are, you know, beneficial to you as men. So check them out. If you'd like to support the podcast, please do it on, you know, whatever site that you're listening to now. It's very welcome. I appreciate those of you who do. You know, give me a 5-star rating and a review. And share it with your friends. You know, if it's beneficial to you, it might be beneficial to somebody else. Share it on a social media site. I know you guys are on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or something. You know, retweet it or repost it or, you know, send it in a message to somebody. They might enjoy it too. You never know. All right, my friends. I have been James Rodney Lemax, and you have been great.